I watch a whole lot of Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker content, and with that I'm starting to see a theme. Everybody's uploading a Season 5 update for Shinobi Striker when Bandai themselves haven't even confirmed it. Hey, I've even made Season 5 videos, but listen, everybody wants modders gone, they want better matchmaking, new maps, this or that, and I'm here to tell you as a guy with a history degree, history repeats itself. You're not the first person, and this is not the first generation of content creators to make DLC wish lists. I'm here to tell you that no matter what the season is, we're not getting what you want. But I can tell you, in the next game, we can get some things. Let's talk about
water pillow.
I might act cool. I lost gang members, I can't act cool. I got gang scriptures in my tattoos. I was running from the police in my trap shoes. Posted trying to flip 100, I come back.
We love Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker not for the game itself, but for the concept, right? We all wanted to flesh out our OCs. We've all thought about, wow, if I was in Naruto, this is how I would do it, or do I have main character energy?
No.
When Shinobi Striker, you could really flesh out your OCs. You could pick their jutsus. If you wanted to make Naruto Uchiha, you could. Whatever you want to do, my guy, you could do that in Shinobi Striker. Then to the competitive scene or comp players or sweat players. If you haven't watched my sweat video, go ahead and do that right now, my guy. Listen, you can do that, but the comp scene kind of ruined that, and they all want to win. They're all running meta, and they crumbled the concept of Shinobi Striker. But listen, I say that for you guys. Shinobi Striker was poorly advertised. They relied on content creators such as Afro Senju, Rhyme Style, and many more in their private tournaments, and they uploaded that content to show, hey, look, we got all these guys, and they're liking it. And Afro Senju is making videos in the beta and saying it's a pretty good game, blah, 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 blah. Carry on, fast forward, not a single advertisement in America. I don't know if they did one in Japan. I'm not there. I'm in America. Sorry, guys. So Shinobi Striker was kind of just a cash grab. Even though it's a unique style that's never been done before, there's not really any other anime games that allow you to create a character, pick and choose the power that you want to use. And that's why so many content creators were doing so much about it, because they can pick and choose builds and make content and have fun. Fast forward, nothing really changed. There's not a lot of content. They skedaddled. The game was pretty much dead for a little bit around season 3, and then they came out and was like, hey, June, July, the game is free. That flooded everybody. TikTok became really, really big, and the game sold 2 million copies because of the community. This is gonna sound a little bit weird, but there's a huge interest in creating your own character, pulling jutsus from different areas, and making an OC. Even people who hate the game, who make fun of it, had a mutual interest in it because they played it. They know about it. There was an interest there at one point. Your biggest haters sometimes have a reason to hate, but let's talk about Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker 2 and flesh it out and how they can get it right for the first time. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is the graphic style here. Listen, a lot of people do not want this, but me personally, I would like a battle royale Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker type concept and art style. But that's not the popular consensus here. What they all kind of want is more of a open world concept Naruto where they can pick and choose and role play and kind of a little bit of a story mode. I understand that. That's the general consensus, and I'll go with it. So what I'm thinking is more of a Breath of the Wild. Wow, I know, crazy, right? A lot of people have this idea of Breath of the Wild, and there's a negative connotation because every game is just trying to do it. Elden Ring did it, and it's more of a grungy type, really beautiful art style that's a little bit more detailed. That's the extreme. I want more of a Naruto style art, but in a Breath of the Wild sense, where it's a little bit more blurred, or the colors are bright and everything's a little bit nicer and prettier, and everything kind of flows together, and there's wind and there's noises and stuff like that. The only thing Shinobi Striker did right is the combat system. They absolutely killed it. The wire kunai, the wall jumping, the movement, honestly is astounding how good they did. They obviously spent a lot of time, but I will say, we'll talk about this later in the next part of this video. Listen, the fighting styles needs to be reworked, but overall the groundwork is there. The fighting, the jutsus are all pretty good in the sense of animation. I like that a lot, and I love the movement. I don't know anyone in Boruto that has scientific ninja tools like chakra claws or an umbrella. I would like for them to go back to things that are in Naruto. There's a whole bunch of weapons, a whole bunch of armors, a whole whole bunch of clothes that we don't have. I don't want them to get any more creative than they have. But let's get to the root of the problem, other than Bandai really favoring one class, and that is the attackers. They get pretty much everything, and every jutsu that's broken, every DLC that they've ever gotten has been useful. The idea of classes in Naruto is kind of ridiculous to me, and it makes me laugh. There are no such things as range types, attack types, or defense types. There are medical ninjas, so I'll give them that, but they don't even call it that. It's a support type DLC or whatever you want to call it, because look at reanimated Itachi, never healed in his life, and here we are. I digress. The class system should be completely dissolved in Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker 2. You should have a pool of jutsus to pull for if you want to heal your team, if you want to defend your team, if you want to be more of an attack type, more of an aggressive type. You should be able to use a Majestic and a Leaf Rising Wind if you want to do that. Let's talk about the argument against that. If there's a huge pool of jutsus, everybody's just going to be running Uchiha Shuriken and Hazan Strike. Now, I think they should slide them down a little bit and make jutsus a little bit more balanced than they are right now, because some jutsus are absolutely broken and some jutsus are completely useless. Now, the argument against that is some jutsus are just completely broken and some jutsus should be overpowered. Izanami, I think, is exactly how it should be. It is a broken thing in the anime and in the manga, and it should be broken in Shinobi Striker. Majestic Destroyer Flame is the strongest fire jutsu that we've ever seen in the Naruto universe. It should be OP. I like that. Leaf Rising Wind, I think that's a perfect jutsu. It is not too OP. It does what it's supposed to do. Dynamic entry, same thing. I like that. Uchiha Shuriken doesn't make sense at all. Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker 2 has to have a better anti-cheat way. Right now, you can just pull saves from PC, and Sony has its own anti-modding capability because it wants to keep the assets in Sony. So if it's not already in Shinobi Striker, it can't go into PlayStation. And Xbox, for some reason, you can't mod at all. I think that's just a weird con. And I think Shinobi Striker needs to step up and kind of realize, hey, our anti-cheat is not working because they're just putting these jutsus on because they're assets in the game. And they need to realize if a jutsu's in the wrong slot, kick the person out of the game. That's how you get rid of modding right there. Ranked mode in Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker 2. I don't think I should be playing a bronze 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. I do realize they do need to fight us to get better. That's why you should have quick match, so it's an open lobby. But if I'm in NWL, there should be a ranked lobby like Apex. Combo him up. He's not going to know what to do, and he's not going to want to play anymore. That's why your players buy the game, they play it, and they're playing against a bunch of platinums because they've had the game for 3 years, and they no longer want to play anymore because they got the rock. You get what I'm saying? I think if I'm an S1, I should play S1 players. If I am an AE player, I need to play A players, B players, so on and so on. It should be harder to get S1 items, and there should be more of an incentive to get those S1 items like an Itachi Anbu hair or something other than a face paint or a Shinobi boost seal, which is kind of weird. Always found it a tad bit weird that we don't have seasonal changes in the lobby or even in any of our maps, because the maps have stayed the same since beta pretty much. Listen, if it's winter, it should snow. If it's autumn, it should look like autumn. If it's spring, it should look like spring. If it's summer, make it look like summer instead of it looking like summer all day, every day, and you throw in some confetti and some flags and say, woo, we updated the lobby. No, it doesn't work like that. Other games do a really good job of putting in new game modes that they might want to implement and test the waters. Hey, we have a new event. Here's some rewards. If you play our event, you can get them. So they're testing this out. They're making an incentive to play the new game mode, and they're trying it out. If it is popular, they're put it in the game. Shinobi Strikers had the same type of game modes: combat, barrier, base, and flag since beta, and they've only changed it up a few times, but there's not a new game mode per se. Yes, we have hero mode, but you're just playing as VR masters in these same game modes. Yes, there's the tuning exams, which they added, but pretty much you're just fighting somebody to the death, and you're most likely going to get jumped or hit with an Imperial Wrath. Let's be honest. Let's change it up a little bit, Shinobi Strikers 2. I think it'd be really funny to have temporary maps. Now, you have the ones that you have now, but implement a new map every now and then. Hey, we have a Cherry Blossom Forest or something like that, a giant forest of death for a limited time. It kind of keeps the game interesting. Similar to Apex, they rotate maps in to kind of give you a fresh, so you're not bored just sitting there in the same maps all the time. Shinobi Striker has it nice, right? The comp scene is led by basically itself, and it kind of flows Shinobi Striker and determines a lot of the things that it does, even though Bandai and Soleil never really acknowledge that the comp scene exists and really carrying its game, because a lot of the times that is the people viewing the videos. Those are the people that are on the most. The comp scene plays 14 hours a day, they never sleep, and a lot of times they are the streamers, they are the content creators. For example, Greyfang, Nappy, myself, all came from PlayStation comp scene. There's other content creators that came out of the comp scene. Those are just a few of them I remember. But I'm saying this all because it'd be really cool to have a community manager. And with that community manager, they kind of command a following and create e-leagues. They create funding events that people for Shinobi Striker 2 can come to. They can watch these scrims, they can watch SPL, they can watch Clan Wars, and Fleetboy Jetson would be a great candidate for that. The last thing I will say, reward your content creators that's been here since day one, the ones that are posting almost every single day on a basically dead content game. I think you should definitely put ads, and I'm not saying throw one in the Super Bowl. I've seen so many ads for these treasure games or that game or that game. Why isn't there a Shinobi Striker ad? Come on, I'm not saying make this free to play. I'm saying throw it up for $60, throw a couple DLCs, and rotate better. And then you have a perfect game. I'll see you in the next one. If you haven't liked the video, you're a scrub though.